Hey, welcome to Lead Loud. My name is Richard Mulholland. I'm the founder and chief evangelist of Presentation Powerhouse Missing Link. Every week on this channel, I'm trying to answer a question for you on presentations, public speaking, online meetings, that kind of stuff. This week, I got a doozy for you because this week is a question that I get asked far too much. And that question is, what software can I use to become a good presenter? And that is what we're going to tackle right now. So, there's good news and there's bad news. The bad news is the answer to the question is not the one you want to hear. The good news is, there's still an answer to the question. And the answer to the question, what software do I use to become a good presenter, is you are asking the wrong question. Right? You cannot use software to become a good presenter. Maybe to improve some of your presentations, make them easier for you to remember, make them nicer for your audience to see, but they're not going to be a good presentation with software alone. Right? I hear all the time about, death by PowerPoint. Blaming PowerPoint for a bad presentation is like blaming a pan for a bad meal. It's not its fault, it's your fault. PowerPoint is fine, you're shit. And to illustrate this point, I want to take you back to the 1974, the year that I was born, to Caltech, to a speech delivered by acclaimed physicist Richard Feynman. Feynman did a talk that year to the class around this idea of cargo cult theory. I don't know if any of you have heard about it. It's very interesting. Basically, what happened is he tells a story about World War II in the South Pacific. And there were the planes that went and they landed, and they had to, the Allied armies had these airplanes, and they used them in these islands in the South Pacific, where they went and they set up these airfields so that they could get stock to land, so that these planes would kind of come and they would fly in, and they would, they'd have those dudes standing there waving the sticks, and everything would happen and tell the story, and the other guys there with their earphones on, talking into these things, and dudes with the sticks, and the plane would arrive down, and the supplies would be dropped off. Anyway, everything's amazing. War finishes, and off they go back home again. They no longer need these airfields. So 20 years later, a group is flying back, and they're coming into the island again, and they're flying back. And what do they see when they get there? Well, what they see is a group of locals standing on a runway 20 years later, having built these platforms, these towers, and you'd have a person sitting with coconuts on their ear and another person standing there waving sticks. And they were trying to work out what happened here, like what was going on. They built these planes, everything. Like, it was a very, very weird situation. And it turns out that what they had become, and Feynman refers to these as cargo cults, is that they saw that these planes would arrive when the people waved the sticks, when the people had the coconuts on their ears and other people waved the sticks. Therefore, if you want planes to arrive to bring the cargo and the supplies, what you do is you put coconuts on your ears and you wave the sticks. Now, I'm telling you this is because this leads to a problem that often happens when people see presenters use fancy tools, like, say, Prezi in this case that I'm using right now. And it's actually a tool often referred to in psychology, and it's called Posthoc, ergo, procter. What that means is, because it happened after the fact, it happened because of the fact. So, if that guy delivered a good presentation and that guy also used fancy slides, therefore it must be the fancy slides that made for the good presentation. But this isn't the case. You have to bake a good cake before you can put on the icing. And a talk, in order to write a good presentation, you have to physically do that. You have to write it before you design it, before you deliver it. And I don't mean you have to write out every single word. I'm saying that you cannot fix a poorly crafted presentation message with fancy software. And in fact, as much as I love Prezi right now, I think Prezi, when it first came out, was lipstick on a pig. People felt that this was the tool that you could use. Oh, I've got a boring presentation. It's very, very boring. Let me add fancy transitions and animations to make it better. Of course, this wasn't helping anything. You have to be able to deliver a phenomenal version of that presentation in plain old PowerPoint before you can move on to the next step and then worry about getting fancy. So this amazes me because I see all of these tools coming out now and they're all offering various other ways to do this. You know, aren't you sick of death by PowerPoint? Look how bad this is. And then a company like this comes along, like say Pitch, and raises like $50 million to make better looking presentations. But of course, it's fixing the wrong part of the problem. It's fixing the make slides part instead of fixing the make the words that are going to be delivered by the humans part interesting. And that's where we have to start. Now, I will link at the moment to an action framework series of videos where we talk you through exactly how you can structure your presentation. Of course, I own a presentation company called Missing Link. You can go to ineedamissinglink.com and you'll find us, but you actually don't need us. You're able to go through and learn the steps and just do the work. I think presentations time has come. I think we need better, more powerful presentations now more than ever, especially when we're doing this through the lens of a camera. And I think we have to level up the right skills. Does this mean that you shouldn't get better at your PowerPoints or your prezzies? Absolutely not. It means that you should put those great tools and build on them from a phenomenal foundation of a good speech, well spoken. Because, after all, I'm referring to Richard Feynman's talk 46 years later, and there was no fancy animations, no fancy slides, nothing at all, but a good story, well told and well structured. That's how you build talks that last centuries, millennia, and longer. And that's what I want you to think about. So, a little bit of food for thought, a little bit of a wayward answer, but I really, really hope I've made you think about different ways to structure your great presentations. Until next time, lead loud. Peace.